are now listening to Lauer Road Radio.
Hey, welcome one and all to the #1 podcast, winter, spring, and fall. Talking sports for the thrill of it all. Hey, talking life, but we're killing it all. Jason and Dan with the master plan. These are dangerous men with the mic in the hand. Bonafide winners everywhere that we go. You're a part of the team.
Lauer Road Radio.
Dad light, thug light, bright lights in sight. All right. What? Dad light, thug light, bright lights in sight. All right. Yeah. Dad light, thug light, bright lights in sight. All right. Bonafide winners everywhere that we go. You're a part of the team.
Lauer Road Radio.
Let's get it. What?
At Tanagra, when the walls fell, this is Jesse filling in for Dan tonight. We have a kind of a weird studio tonight. We have a weird group of people. We don't have Preston, which I'm not upset about.
He's what keeps us grounded.
Is he? Is he?
We don't have Dan.
No.
Harrison's not here.
Yeah.
So we got Stella running everything today, which, to be quite honest, is probably better than having.
She's the most proficient one at it.
She is what keeps us grounded.
Professional.
Yes, and we got a guest in the house, Aaron.
The number one guest, been here more than any other guest.
Yeah, repeat 3 times, 4?
I think it's been like 5 or something.
5?
I don't even remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
and me. You didn't introduce me.
I was getting there.
Oh, okay.
I was getting there. And Jason, how are you today?
I'm doing good.
Is it Lauer Road Radio without both the brothers?
Yes.
Well,
maybe.
I don't know. That's interesting.
I drove past Lauer Road over the 4th, and I was like, "Hey, Savannah, Lauer Road," and she was like, "Yeah, I know, it's not a big deal." And I'm like, "What kind of is?"
Yeah.
So,
well, nothing happens there anymore.
Where it all started.
It's where it all started.
yeah. How far down the road is the house that you guys?
Halfway.
Okay, so it wasn't the first one that I could see.
No, you can't.
Because I picture that being your house.
No, it's the one
up.
that's like pure gold and like enshrined in glass.
Yeah. We actually put a dome over the whole thing. It's biodome, basically. No, Dan, so like a lot of people ask, we've had a few new people to the show, and they're like, dude, we love the chemistry. You guys are flowing and talking and having fun. And I'm like, yeah, we did that for years and years and years, our whole life, and never hit record. We were just goofing off.
Yeah, it's just what it was.
It's just what it was, you know?
Did it all start because Dan told me that you guys didn't have AC growing up, so you guys were just like miserable in the room, probably just complaining. And
yeah, and so like this was, picture mid-'80s, right? It's like 95 degrees out. We don't have air conditioning, and nobody really did. I mean, I don't know. We were poor. No poor people did. And my parents bought a little tiny air conditioner for their bedroom, like the little window one. And so, like, if it got up to, like, 95 or 100, like, we'd all sleep on the floor in there. But usually, we slept in the living room, and we had an attic fan, know, that sucks the air through the house. We'd turn on the attic fan. Dan and I would be, like, in our underwear, our whitey-tighties, laying on the living room floor with bed sheets and watching, whatever TV. We'd even have real TV. We had, like, NBC, ABC, and
it was
CBS.
like the antenna stuff?
It was antenna, yeah.
We call that Farmer Vision.
Farmer Vision. There was
Vision,
technically we had 3 stations forever, and then Fox came around, and that was like a huge deal.
Kids
and
these
PBS.
days, man, growing up with their AC. Come on now.
They have no idea. So Dan and I would just sit around for hours and hours and hours and just make stuff up.
Yeah.
Just have fun. And so that's kind of where it came from. And finally
I feel like
we said, let's record.
That kind of just ended like in the early 2000s, where you had like siblings and stuff growing up together and really forming that bond. Now everybody just focuses on video games. And
Yeah. So, I had this conversation with Shelby the other night. Something happened. I don't know when it happened. Probably like 2008 is what I'm guessing. Prior to 2008, we had shared experiences as a culture. Mm-hmm. And a lot of it was like movies and TV and stuff like that. But picture American Idol. So, like, American Idol, when it first came out, was massive.
Huge.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Everybody watched it.
My sister would, like, run to the bathroom real quick during commercial break and, like,
Yeah. That's exactly what it was. So, I think, like, the show was, like, Tuesdays, and then the results were, like, Wednesdays. So, we went to Wednesday night church, and I remember my wife and I, we would go flying home as fast as we could so that we could watch American Idol. And, but what happened was everybody in America watched it that night, and then the following day at work or around the water cooler at church or wherever you're at, everybody would talk about it. Mm-hmm. And it was a shared experience, like a cultural thing. And now, like Netflix and Hulu and Paramount.
I don't even watch TV.
There's not enough. There's so much content. And most of it's garbage.
Yep.
But occasionally you'll hear, like, oh, Yellowstone. Oh, it's Yellowstone.
Well, you see all these like new movies coming out. They're just all flopping. Nobody gives a crap about movies.
No.
Nobody
Did you
goes
see
to
the new
the theater.
Wonka? There's a new Wonka.
I don't even know
Oh my God. I'm
News to me.
so angry about this because it looks so stupid. It's like a prequel. And it's like, do you not have an original thought in your brain? Can you not come up with anything else?
Well,
Who plays?
It almost makes the like. Is it a money move that they're trying to do to just capitalize on the old stuff, or is
it's a cheap dollar because it says Wonka on the screen, and
maybe they're afraid of the woke police. Then they're just staying with what's safe.
To me, it's like so you got to watch the trailer. The trailer's interesting. I refuse to watch it at all cost. I will not watch this movie, but the trailer is interesting. It looks good. There's lots of stuff happening, and the thing is, if they would have just took that and made it its own thing rather than slap a Wonka label on it, they could have put some twist on it and made it different, and it would have been fantastic. Mm-hmm. You would have your own brand new original movie, and now you don't. Now it's just a stupid version of Wonka. I can't stand it. So back to the shared experience. We don't have that anymore. So after 2008, we're all just doing our own thing. Everybody, siblings and
2008.
Thanks, Obama.
Do you guys remember going to video game releases at midnight?
Well,
Nah.
Okay, you would have been a little old.
I was married with kids
you
at
were
that
about
point.
so you're about 10 years older than me. But
Yeah.
Jesse, you were like the same age.
I was not a video game guy in high
man,
school.
that was me and my friends, like 15, 16 years old. That was the best.
Yeah. So friend of the show, Matt Neff.
Yep.
You've met Matt. Matt worked at a garbage dump once.
Really?
Have you heard this story?
No.
So Matt, I love Matt. Matt's a funny guy. He lives in Houston now. I'd love to get him back on the show. But Matt worked at this dump in like Youngstown, okay? And he worked like the overnight shift. So they're just dumping stuff and shoving stuff in big piles, and I don't know what you do at a dump, but stuff like that. And he noticed that every Thursday at like 3 a.m, there was a truck dump, and it was a dump from a Toys R Us. And this Toys R Us would dump video games, full packaging, brand new.
They do that all the time.
They do that all the time. And so they would be there at that dump truck waiting every Thursday at 3 a.m, and they would go pick up all the games, and he would turn around and sell them like on eBay and stuff.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I remember GameStop. They used to take like all the stuff that didn't sell. They'd literally scratch the back of it and throw it in a dumpster.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want people picking through their dumps.
Yeah, well, and it's a write-off at some point where it's like, we bought this game and now we can't sell it, and so we're disposing of it, and so you write off $30 or whatever it cost. I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I do miss Blockbuster and like Family Video.
Yeah.
Because that was I played a little bit of video game, not enough to go to releases, but just going to a Blockbuster Family Video, renting perusing all the games and going sneaking back to the naughty section just to kind of peek a little bit.
At Blockbuster, there's no naughty section.
There was one at Family Video.
Yes, there was one at Family Video.
I didn't go that.
Oh yeah, you go peek a little bit, and they'd be like, "All right, move along,
the bad
kid,
side
move
of
along."
town.
But then picking what you want, taking it home, and then you're on a
The naughty
mad,
section?
maybe. And then you're on a mad dash to beat the game before you have to return it
like
like a
3
7
We did that with Luigi's Mansion when that first came out for, I don't even know what system it was.
Was it like GameCube or something?
Maybe GameCube, maybe Wii. I can't remember. Whenever it came out, we actually bought it like the opening day, and we went home and we beat it in like 3 hours. I mean, it was such an easy game to get through.
Just go back and return it.
We returned it. Like, this is a stupid game, and we beat it in 3 hours. This is stupid.
Well, then what happened is they started doing what's called modifying like Xboxes. I remember I had an original Xbox, and my dad paid to have it modified where there was a computer hard drive put in it.
Yeah.
And then when you would rent a game, you could download the game and everything on
That's
it.
pretty cool.
And so you just go rent 5 or 10 games at a time.
Scamming the system. That's what I like.
What's the official Lauer Road stance on piracy?
I don't have a problem with it. Not at all. Now,
well, I mean, it's pretty.
you got to define piracy.
It's pretty known that like we share passwords and stuff for like Netflix and whatever. But what about like?
Oh, that piracy.
I'm talking.
Okay, I'm thinking like I am the captain now. I was like,
I'm
I
all
don't-
for that.
Like I don't know where that went.
We're
came
talking
from.
about like, hey, let's go to a certain website and download a whole movie because I don't want to pay for it.
I did that.
Yeah.
Listen, I did it once and I got my internet shut off.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't know anything about like hiding your IP address. I didn't have, a VPN, and I downloaded a movie illegally, and then for like a week I couldn't get internet. So I called my internet provider. I'm like, "Hey, what the heck? I'm paying for this." And they're like, "Yeah, you were trying to steal movies." Like, what? This is a thing?
When we first got high-speed internet, we had dial-up, right? When we first got married, and high-speed internet came out for us like in 2001, 2002. And so it was DSL. So it really wasn't even high
It was
speed.
like 4 megabyte.
It
or
was
megabit.
just it was like 3 times faster than a modem, but it was always on. So like a modem, you didn't have to dial in and dial out and sign on, sign off. It was just always on. And I remember the first movie I downloaded was Star Trek Nemesis. And I queued it up and it downloaded 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then I remember watching it. And it was one of those ones that someone shot it in the movie
Like a
theater
character.
and you had people,
Yeah.
shadows walking through. It was great.
Yeah.
So
And
I don't know. I
well,
mean,
then you had Spot or LimeWire.
Oh, man.
dude! And you'd spend
So
all
many
that time,
viruses.
so many viruses,
was
among
the one-
other websites that I got viruses from back in the day. But like
there's one that started with an N. What was-
Napster?
Napster. That was the other
yep.
one. Yeah.
But LimeWire, you would spend all this time finding songs and downloading them, and then at the end, after they're all downloaded, you spend all this time. It's like a Trapaholics remix of the song. Like you'd hear you'd turn it on, you're like, yes, I finally got it, and you'd hear Trapaholics remix. And
I have no idea
oh
what
my
that is.
gosh.
You had to get good with LimeWire because you had to be like, okay, this song, all the other songs are 4 megabyte. Why is this
Yeah.
one 7?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
There's something going on with
Yeah,
that.
I wasn't very smart, so I was just all the time. I'm just like, oh, this is the one I want.
So there was a-
Trapaholics remix.
There was another thing that, not scamming the system, we did this legally, but in the early days of our marriage, Blockbuster ran a deal where for like $20 a month, you could get unlimited movie rentals. Okay. So it was like a subscription.
was that
service.
like in response to the Netflix thing?
This was
probably?
actually before Netflix. Well, no, Netflix, I think, started
'Cause they had
the
that
mail
DVD
service.
mail
Yeah.
order.
So, yeah, it was probably about that same time. But this was like you go in the store, which to me is far more impressive because it's like I want to watch an action or I want to watch a comedy tonight. Mm-hmm. So they had a package where you could rent 2 movies at a time. And we lived down at Polaris, and we were literally 5 minutes from Blockbuster. So the first month that we had this, and we didn't have kids. It was before Stella came around. The first month that we had this, we watched like 78 movies.
Really? You rent like 3 a night or something?
2 a night.
Yeah.
We watched 2 a night, and then on Saturday, we would watch 2 Saturday morning, return them, watch 2 more in the afternoon, return them, and watch 2 more that night.
Wow.
And I'm not kidding. And we watched literally every movie on the shelf at Blockbuster.
That's funny.
And then we canceled the service because we watched everything.
Game the system.
78 movies. And then like 6 months later, we did it again.
Yeah.
And I think that time we watched like 38. And at the end of it, it's like, this, I'm done.
Do you
I can't watch any more
Do you ever
movies.
remember going to Blockbuster and then like wanting a specific movie and the shelf is just
Yeah.
wiped?
Yeah, I
Like
hate
when a
that.
new one would come out or whatever. And there'd be like, especially when Blu-rays came out, the Blu-rays would be gone. There'd be like 1 DVD. Like, I'm not watching DVD no more.
peasant you think I am.
Yeah, I remember we would go up to the counter and we would ask them to check the returns. Like, is Bad Boys 2 in the return section because we got to watch it tonight.
Yeah.
And
Well-
they would go through it and they would find it and hand it.
So I'm a child of the early 90s and I don't even remember VHS at Blockbuster. I only
Really?
remember going there when there was DVDs.
Really, I vaguely have a memory, and I'm like a year or 2 younger than you.
We lived off of VHS.
I mean, of course I've seen VHS, but I do not remember ever going to Blockbuster for VHS or anything.
Yeah.
Just-
So we bought our first VCR and Dan and I were probably like 8 years old, 6, 7, 8
what
years
does
old.
VCR even mean? What does VHS even mean?
I don't know. Video home service.
Preston, get on it.
Yeah, Preston's not here.
Yeah, it's
We got a VCR, and one of the first movies we bought was the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on the VHS.
A good one.
We watched that thing non-stop. I mean, just on repeat over and over and over.
So there was a summer when I was growing up where my younger brother watched Scooby-Doo 2 every day the entire summer. He's 10 years younger than me, so he's probably like 6.
Yeah.
That was it wasn't a bad movie, honestly.
I tell you one that I used to like was Titanic. My sister had the 2.
That was a 2 copy.
A 2 copy.
Oh, the VHS, yeah.
And I hate. She used to watch it like every day, and I hated it when I was really young. And then I got to the scene where Jack was painting Rose.
Yeah, this is how he ended up in the naughty section.
And that's how I ended up. And I remember I would sit there and I would watch it, and I'd get to that point and then rewind it and watch it again. And my sister finally came in and she was like, "Enough of this." And she hid that tape. So then we only had half of the movie anyway. I'm like, yeah.
Was it the first half or the second half? The
I
second
can't
half, there's more action in the whole movie. That's when it's sinking.
Dude, I was like 8, 10, 12,
Yeah.
I don't know. All
So
I cared about was the painting scene,
Another 2 copy movie was Pearl Harbor.
Nah.
That movie with
I actually haven't seen it.
Liv Tyler and I don't even know who the male actor was, but it was like a 4-hour movie, and it had to be on 2 separate.
I'm pretty
Same
sure.
with the Green Mile.
Can you do that again for me? No. I'm pretty sure that there was the Lord of the Rings that came out on VHS that was also a 2-parter.
So there's an extended version, which is like 4.5 hours, which is crazy.
You have to watch the extended versions. They're way better than the originals.
I have them on digital.
And actually, I think I had heard that he was talking about re-releasing an even more version because he had more footage.
Like a new cut.
Yeah, a new cut.
Yeah. No, I'm all for it. I
I'd
love
watch
Lord
it.
of the Rings. Yeah.
I've
Just
never
not
seen any of them.
the newer ones. Those movies. Those are
The Hobbit.
the Hobbit ones. Yeah, those weren't good.
Yeah. It's tough. I like the whole world. I like
Yeah.
Middle Earth. And once again, give me new content in Middle Earth. It doesn't even have to be related to anything. Give me a whole world about elves.
He's dead. He's long gone.
Okay, so I got some stuff. You got some stuff.
Got a couple little things.
Aaron, you might have some stuff.
What are you guys drinking? What are we bringing to the studio?
I got Mountain Dew.
I got Diet Mountain Dew.
Says a lot about us. I got a mango seltzer water.
That's not a squirt.
That is not a squirt.
Not a squirt. Never
really
had
missing
never
out.
had a squirt.
You've never had a squirt?
Never had a squirt.
That's impressive. That's really impressive.
I've never had a Mellow Yellow either.
What?
Serious.
Dude, I just bought a 12-pack of Mellow Yellow like last week.
But I'm not really a Mountain Dew drinker. I know they're comparable, but yeah, I've never had a Mellow Yellow.
Comparable, sure.
I would prefer Mellow Yellow.
I think I prefer Mellow Yellow, too.
So, I have a question. Which would be easier? Teddy proposes to me. Getting $1 million from one person or having 1 million people give you $1.
I've got my answer.
Like if it's your goal to get $1 million, are you going to attempt to try to get 1 million people to give you $1 or try to find one person to give you $1 million?
You know, that really is interesting because you feel like from the perspective of getting 1 million people to do something, it's like, that sounds difficult.
Yeah.
What if it's the saddest story ever? I mean, people people do that stuff on like GoFundMe,
Yeah.
where they'll fake like this is a homeless person, whatever, help him out, and they'll raise $1 million and keep it.
He had cancer and he got in a car accident and then his dog died.
Yeah. So I guess we have to figure out, are there any stipulations here?
No.
Can you break
No
the law?
stipulations. So
You can break the law, yeah.
So you can break the law. You can do it
Whatever
via
you
the
want.
internet.
Yeah.
You can lie, cheat, steal.
Whatever. Yeah.
So I could go steal $1 from 1 million people.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Here's the, I think it would be easier.
I don't think you could do that in a
to
lifetime.
get $1 million from one person.
I do too.
Because you'd have to do it online to get $1 from 1 million people individually. You would have to do it online.
Well,
You
I feel
couldn't
like
do
to
it
steal $1
personally.
million, you'd have to do it online too.
Oh,
because
100%.
you can't just steal a wad of cash like
Yeah.
$1 million. You can,
Because if you have to get $1 from each person, then you would have you couldn't steal $500,000 from a bank. Because only one of those dollars.
I mean, having said that, there are like people that have a large audience that have subscription-based things that are like $2 a month. You know?
Yeah.
it's easy to sell people in subscriptions.
I
Yeah.
think because I have a sales background
Yeah.
and I'm used to cold calling people, I feel like it would be easier for me personally to call to get a list of millionaires, multimillionaires,
Yeah.
and call and solicit them in some way to
Yeah.
get one of them to give me $1 million.
Yeah, I kind of think it'd be easier to get, which is crazy. It's crazy
Yeah.
to think about someone giving you $1 million.
I disagree with both of you. I think it would be easier to create something viral and solicit $1 million. Like, just create some horrible sob
like
story.
blackmail someone.
No, just create like a sob story and then
yeah.
like just have people donate to a
Well,
cause or whatever.
that's the same thing. Yeah, yeah. You could do that.
I think I could give a sob story to a bunch of multimillionaires, and if I get one of
It
them
only
that's
takes
a
one.
sucker.
That's true. You could be like, hey,
Only takes
come help
one.
us build wells in Africa or something.
What
Yeah.
I would do is I would rip off your story that you carefully crafted to pitch to millions of people, and I would just pitch it to the people who have all the money.
So I started a website one time. This was 2004 or something. This is a long time ago. And you might have heard this story. It was called mygreenspace.gs.
Oh,
And I don't know what GS stands for, but it was green space. So
Gastrointestinal system.
I don't know. It was you could buy domains with like dot whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and so this one was .gs, and in my brain everything connected. I'm like green space, my green space. And so what I said was, for every $1 that you donate,
wait. MySpace came out in 2004.
it was right about that same
So
time.
you made My Green Space in 2004.
It was right about that same time. Yeah. And so what the deal was, if you donate $1, for every $1 that you donate, I will plant one tree. And so the idea was, let's make everything green. Because this was still, I mean, climate change is much bigger now. It actually do better now than it did back then. But the idea was,
domain?
No, I let all that expire. But the idea was, it's like, well, 1 million people could give you $1 to plant a tree. Now you have $1 million. And it'd be so easy to plant.
Well, did it ever take off?
No, it never took off.
Did you get any dollars?
I got like $3.
It's more than
three
nothing.
trees.
Yeah, so it was
Ooh.
it was interesting. Is it still a live website?
Well, there's a mygreenspace.in. They sell body butter. Body butter.
Body butter.
Wow. Body butter, body lotion, body scrub.
No, that's not mine. I had
That's
trees. I was a tree
definitely
guy.
not yours.
Do you think that would work again? I think it's more prevalent today.
because they have the whole Team Trees thing on YouTube.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, it's if you know who Mr. Beast is, he did
yeah.
the whole Team Trees thing where they planted like 20 million trees or something.
Yeah, see, that's what I wanted to do. And my idea was, this is fantastic, because here's my plan.
So really, you're saying you had the idea before Mr. Beast did?
Yes.
And he's only like 22 years old, so
I did it before he was born.
So
Or right around that time.
Yeah.
theory, even this podcast is evidence for a lawsuit against Mr. Beast
Oh.
because you did it before
I had
he
it
did.
first.
Yep.
As far as I
He's
know,
got the money.
As far as I know, I'm the first one to come up with that. Because here's my plan for real. I was going to take in this money, and then I was going to buy acreage of land and plant like a forest. And then now I own the acreage. I own the trees. I could harvest it for lumber down the road.
and you got all that money.
And I got all that money. It's actually fantastic.
He scams people into donating money so he can plant trees so that he can later
cut them
deforest
down.
his trees.
That was exactly my plan. It was going to be like I was going to be a billionaire.
Just cycle. Just create the cycle.
Yeah. Well, listen, I would plant more trees at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. But I planted them originally.
Well, once you're in the business, you got to stay in the business.
And listen, then you could recruit 3 of your friends
Yes.
to also start
A
the
tree
business.
pyramid.
A tree pyramid
Yes.
scheme. Listen, I think that might still hold up.
Okay, I might do this. If there's enough
Can I be your number
multi-level
2?
marketing.
Yes.
You're my. I got 2 number 2s.
Yes.
Okay. Now you guys got to get 2 people under you.
I'm on it, man. Been there, done that. Unsuccessfully, but been there, done
For
that.
$1,000 only, you can get signed up with Tree Space. My Tree Space. And if for every person that you recruit, you make $200.
Yes. I like it. We can do this. We should do this. Come on, guys. Let's
For
do this.
planting trees.
We're gonna plant trees,
But here's the thing.
and then we'll harvest the lumber.
Listen, we're laughing about it.
Someone's
there
gonna do
are
it.
a lot of there are a lot of tree huggers out there. There are a
Yes.
lot of crazy liberals that'll see something like this and be like, "Let's jump on it.
I know.
Save the trees."
Listen, just give
And
me
then
10%.
they listen to our podcast and figure out, like, wait a minute, these guys are jerks.
Just give me 10%. Someone else do it. Just give me 10%
Yeah.
for the idea. I'd be okay
We
with
need a
that.
whiteboard.
Yeah,
Of ideas.
No, we just start
just doing this,
make the pyramid.
and then tell people, listen, and this is not a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Draw it around.
Okay,
Well,
you're here,
you're
and then you
here.
get these people, and then you get these people.
Listen, I was
It's an upside down tree.
I'm a professionally trained pyramid schemer.
Yeah.
I could do this.
Okay, I think we should start it.
Yep.
I'll buy a website.
Yep.
Like
I got the
$5.
verbiage down. I'll do the recruiting.
Don't we
Yep.
have a official Lauer Road website?
Yeah. Should
can-
we just
can
make it a
direct
subdomain of that?
We can make the traffic go straight to My Tree Space.
mygreenspace.lrr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Lauer Road Radio / My Green Space.
Yeah.
We'll just do it that way. Okay. Well,
great
go to
idea.
Lauer Road Radio. If you use Lauer Road Radio when you donate, I will plant 2 trees for every $1. If you don't use a promo code, it'll just be 1 for 1.
I'm trying to think of a funny promo code. I can't think of it. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. Okay. So that's my thing.
Okay. I got a shorter thing.
Okay. What's
I
your
got a short thing?
Well, yeah. I
Yeah.
assumed.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, just
What's your-
fell right into that one.
I mean, I wasn't going to come out and say it, but I assumed.
Yeah, and then I just agreed with it.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. I'll
What's your
own it.
shorter thing?
Okay, that's totally clipped. You got to clip that. Yeah, I got a short.
You got a short, real short one. So
move on.
after
Yeah.
church last week, we went to a Mexican restaurant, and my youngest, Oliver, he is 4. He goes, "Dad, I gotta go pee. I gotta go pee. I gotta go pee." I said, "Okay." So I run him to the bathroom, and he wants to go in where the toilet is, not the urinal. And I said, there was someone in there.
Yeah.
I said, "Buddy, no, just pee in the urinal." And he goes, "Okay." And of course, like, he pulls his pants all the way down, and he's in this stage where, "Dad, don't look at my butt." So I'm like, whatever. So I turn around and face the other way. So we're kind of like back to back, and And he pees. And then all of a sudden I hear him say, "Oh, and poop too."
Oh.
And I turn around.
Yeah.
And he is already sitting in the urinal.
Oh.
Yeah, he's sitting on the urinal cake. He's getting ready to drop one. And I'm like, "No, Ollie, no, stop, stand up." Because now I'm like panicking. And so he goes, "But Dad, I have to poop." And I said, "But buddy, you can't poop in there. You have to poop in the toilet, not the urinal." And so then he goes to try to open the door and I said, "No, there's someone in there." And he pops his head under and he goes, "Yep, someone's in there." And I'm just like, "No, Ollie, let's just go back to our table. Like, you can poop after we're done eating." And I hear this dude in here you can hear him holding back laughter. And so I like run out, I like pick him up and I like run him out. And I was thinking about it later. I'm like, what if I wouldn't have turned around soon enough and he had just dropped it in there? What should I have done?
Gideon has done this.
He's pooped in a urinal?
Gideon has pooped in a urinal.
Okay, do you remember at Ridgedale when somebody pooped in this sink? And the principal got on the intercom and was like, "I will find
whoever pooped it." Yeah, because it was Mr. Napper, right?
Yeah.
So listen, Aaron and I have this shared experience with this principal that it's funnier knowing him.
He's related to me.
You know Brian, Uncle Brian?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's even better.
His sister married my uncle.
Okay. So you know.
I've been at family events with him.
Listen, eyeball.
You know how intense he is. Like,
and he is.
Well, okay, so I
sold a soul.
You do your thing. I got another Mr. Napper thing.
So yeah, I will find whoever pooped in the sink. And here's the thing.
It's like the movie Taken. I will find you.
Oh, and of course you hear the entire school all at once erupt. I mean, teachers, no one can hold it in.
That was funny.
Everyone, do you know who it was?
No, I don't.
We have suspicions at that point.
Was it Brett?
Brett honestly was the least rebellious kid in school. He was pretty chill.
Oh gosh,
that's funny.
That was good. Yeah.
So when I was in middle school, Mr. Napper was my principal.
Okay.
Yeah, he started at Elgin.
Yeah,
over at Elgin.
Yeah.
And so he gets on. We're in 8th grade. He gets on the intercom and he goes, "Somebody left a cassette tape in the office. Please come to return it. The cassette tape is Snoopy Dog Dog."
Listen, we can just hear him.
Snoopy Dog Dog. Yeah, and once again, the whole school erupted with laughter. It said Snoop Doggy Dog. It was Snoopy Dog Dog. Oh my gosh, so funny.
He didn't care.
Do you think he did? I think he did it for comedic purposes.
A little bit. So here's another thing that I know. I just noticed this my junior or senior year. He came into school every morning wearing a really dark pair of sunglasses.
Oh, yeah.
And he did not take those sunglasses off for hours after he entered the building. And there are a couple times, you get a little peek, and you can tell how red his eyes were. I'm just saying.
It's a Jack Black in School of Rock. Who in here knows what a hangover is? It means you're drunk? No, it means you were drunk yesterday.
Something like that, yeah. But no, he, in seriousness, though, he was one of the, I wouldn't say most influential, but one of the people that I appreciate far more now than when he was my principal, because he came in I got sent to his office the second day he was principal.
He almost comes in swinging. He's intense.
He came in swinging on me, so I was an idiot. Still am. And so he was a new principal. Our old principal, we always said that he was a lame duck principal because he was just waiting it out.
Yeah.
I'd get in trouble every day, and he'd just be like, whatever.
Knock it off, go back to class.
Knock it off, go back to class. And Mr. Napper comes
Bourne,
in.
I think.
Mr. Bourne, yes. And Mr. Napper comes in. First day of school, he has assemblies for every single class. And we get to our assembly, and I hear there are a bunch of leaders in this class, but I hear you're leading the wrong way. And I tell you what, if you think you're going to keep leading that way, I'm going to kick your beep right out of here.
That's funny.
So we're all kind of laughing about this. So day 2, I decide, I don't think you're serious.
Yeah.
So I wear a shirt I bought at Kohl's, and it says, "I don't give a," it has a rat with a donkey on a lead.
Okay.
So I wear that to school. And
Completely appropriate. And I walk by the office to go to my locker before the first bell even rings. And he goes, "Mr. Shrake." He already knew your name.
He knew. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. He goes, "How about you pop into my office real quick?" And I'm like, okay, now here's the thing. I had a backup shirt already in my locker. Yeah. And he goes, so, and he starts off real chit-chat. "I hear that you're kind of a leader, but you're just a little bit misguided.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't know. And he goes, what's your shirt say? I said, well, I don't give a mouse horse. And he goes, And so he opens his door and he pulls one of the t-shirts. He goes, Mr. Poff, what does that shirt say? When you read that? And he says it, and I go, no, no way. And he goes, and he gets real serious. So he was real kind of light. Yeah. He gets real serious, and he goes, Mr. Shrake, I will kick your ass out of here so fast. He goes, you get no more chances. I was like,
on
none?
Day 2.
Day 2.
That's funny.
And I've got 2 years with this guy.
By the way, I love breaking down local Ridgedale High School stuff from the mid-90s or early 2000s or whatever.
Late 2000s.
Yeah, 2000,
sorry.
2010.
I'm a lot older than you
This
guys.
is a very niche story because,
Do you know, so Mr. Napper kind of limped around a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you know he holds records at Elgin in the sprint, in a 100 and 200-yard sprint? And
Yeah.
he will
That
hold
doesn't
them.
surprise me.
He will hold them forever.
Yeah.
They will never be broken because they don't run yardage anymore.
Yep.
Oh, it's yards.
Yep.
Yeah, he owns it in yards, and now they run meters. Mr. Napper will own the 100-yard dash at Elgin High School and for all of eternity.
I knew a bailiff that played football with him and said the reason he is the way he is because the way he played football.
Yeah.
Head down.
Yeah.
Just he's crazy.
He was a
man.
beast. Yeah.
But yeah, it's enough of that.
Okay, let's hit the Netflix.
This is where Dan normally
Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus. Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus. Or maybe Amazon Prime or something like that, like YouTube. Or we don't want to put a box around what you watch, so you never know.
Dan's really proud of that song,
Oh, yeah.
by the way.
Honestly, it's not bad. I mean,
It's
for one
really
take,
not. Yeah.
it's catchy.
It is catchy.
Yeah, every time it comes on, I just kind of like hate myself a little bit because I have to sing it when I'm listening it.
It's hard
back.
not to.
It is.
And and you get a little into it. Netflix. But
Okay.
Jason, what is your Netflix suggestion of the week?
My Netflix suggestion of the week is found on Discovery Plus. Okay.
Oddball.
And it is oddball. I don't normally watch Discovery, but we have it, and so I watch it. And I started watching this with Teddy. The other boys are out at church camp this week, and so I thought this is a week that Teddy and I can sit down and we can watch something, just him and me, like a shared experience, the two of us, right? And I'm flipping through, and I find there's a new edition of Gold Rush. So Gold Rush, like there's the old ones.
Yep.
Now there's a new one with like Hoffman Family Gold.
Is that
or
the
something like
Australian one?
No. It's brand new. I think it's called Hoffman Family Gold. It's not even called Gold Rush, but it's the same guys.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Todd Hoffman, his dad Jack, and his son Hunter are the three that are doing this thing. And they're up in Alaska, and they find this plot of land, and you know how the story goes. They play it,
Wheel and deal and get the.
yeah. And honestly, Todd, I would love to like talk to Todd in real life. He seems like an idiot sometimes, but then sometimes he's so dumb he doesn't know not to do things. It's like he's successful because he's dumb. You know, there's people like that. You know, they
Well,
just,
some of it's just like they took a blind risk and they just went for it.
Yeah.
They didn't think about it, and
Those are
sometimes
my
it pays
kind of
off.
people.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I like
So
those people.
Teddy, it's totally clean. There's nothing really bad in it. And Teddy, he's funny. His birthday is Sunday, and 2 or 3 times over the last couple of days, we watched 2 or 3 episodes a day over the last week, and 2 or 3 times over the last 2 or 3 episodes, Teddy leans to me. He's like, "For my birthday, I think I want to go mine gold." Okay, I don't know. I mean, you don't see a lot of gold mining in Ohio, but we'll see what we can do. I don't know. We'll go outside and pan some dirt. I
Yeah,
don't know.
just play the whole thing up. Maybe you can find fool's gold or something.
Well, you can order bags of like pay dirt.
Oh yeah, there is a pay
Yeah.
dirt thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll get some. You'll at least get enough to where he goes, "Oh my gosh, we got gold. That's so cool." And I think they're like $15-20 for a bag.
That's a lot.
for like 50 cents worth of gold and an hour of panning it.
A speck of gold.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's fun.
cool.
Family or Hoffman Family Gold, I think is what it's called. So,
I'd watch it.
yeah. What do you got?
So last night, my niece, she's scrolling through and she goes, "Have you guys seen this? It's called A Walk to Remember."
Oh yeah, I remember that movie.
It's like early 2000s, but set I think in 1996-ish. And so I'll give a caveat here. I didn't see the entire thing because she fast forwarded through the parts that she deemed as boring. Which, listen, when I watch a movie, I won't even go to the bathroom without pausing it. If I go to the movie theater to watch a movie, I have to watch. I want all the details. I want all of the backstory, even if it's boring and pointless. So I only got to see 35 actual minutes of this movie because she kept fast forwarding and telling me, "Oh, this happened here. They had a conversation about this." But what I did see was pretty good. Okay. It was pretty good especially for being an older movie. It's very corny. It's
an
a
older movie.
Little bit of a
2000s.
tearjerker.
Definitely a tearjerker.
It's 2000s, an older movie.
Yeah, it has Mandy Moore. I think is what her
Mandy
name. Yeah, especially 2004 Mandy Moore. Woo. But it's corny because it's like Christian adjacent, right? So like
those are the worst.
And it did kind of feel like a sketch that you would see done at some kind of non-drug, a TI or a Dare.
Yeah.
Because they were bullies. There were some bullies, and the way that the bullies bullied, you're like, oh, that is just like the most stereotypical, But
I heard that you're king of the mountain. I'm king of the mountain.
Yeah, yeah, and so Mandy Moore, she plays a Christian girl. Her dad's pastor, and one of the bullies, gets in trouble and has to go be in the drama club, and he ends up getting the lead part in this play, and
opposite of her,
kind of, and they end up falling in love. But then at the end, and I'll just
it's an old movie. Tell us what happens. Yeah, nobody cares.
So they fall in love, and he completely changes and becomes this kind of good guy, and ends up she has cancer.
Oh, geez.
And so they're really deep into the relationship, and she tells him, and so now he's on a mission to do all these things that she had, basically a bucket list.
Yeah.
And so
I'm not going to watch this movie,
dude. It's one.
I'm
of
not going to watch it.
It's a tearjerker. And at the end, so she wants to have this big telescope so she can see this meteor, and he spends all this time building it, and he's just checking stuff off this checklist for her. And she said her number one, or one of the things that she wanted was to witness a miracle, and to get married in her dad's church. So they get married real quick,
and then she dies.
So then it fast forwards. So it didn't even show any scenes of her dying. It just says 4 years later after they got married.
No.
And it's him saying, we spent this wonderful summer together.
No.
At the end, he comes back to her dad. So it's 4 years after they got married, probably 3.5 years after she dies. And he's like, I made it into medical school, and he's like, oh, I knew you would, and this and that. And then he says, I'm so sorry that she didn't get to see her miracle. And then Dad goes, well, she did. You were her miracle.
I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it.
Listen,
I'm not going to watch it.
They're these daggone allergies. And my niece is over on the other side of the room, and she goes, it gets me every time. So I would have liked to have watched all of it straight through, but the parts I saw were very, very good. Tearjerker, kind of corny. But I would say wholesome. There's a little bit of language because you got the rough group of kids that say a couple 4-letter words, but it's something I'd watch with your kids. So
that's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
but whatever.
Bad.
I mean,
whatever,
we live in a different America now.
Yeah, no, I'd watch it with my kids. Okay. It was good enough.
Aaron, what's your suggestion?
So we just stumbled upon this last night, but there's this whole massive YouTube thing for people that go out and use the metal detectors.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I watch it all the time.
So this video we watched, this guy went to the beach after the 4th of July weekend. He found gold rings and
really
all kinds of stuff. People just leave in the sand. He found $10 worth of change, and he probably made $300-400 just going there at 2-4 a.m. or something like that, and just 6 hours on the beach.
That's my dream. When I was we were at Panama City 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I went every morning, probably about 6:30 in the morning before everybody woke up, and I'd sit out there and I'd read my book and stuff, and I would see people with the gold detectors going up and down the beach, and I'm like dreaming. I'm like, I want to do that so bad.
Yeah. There's like this whole little niche of like the metal detectors, the scuba divers that go,
the treasure hunt,
the
stuff.
treasure hunters, like the guys that throw the magnets off the bridge and
oh
pull
yeah,
up
yeah, that's
stuff.
crazy too.
Like that whole niche.
Oh.
I see those videos and I watch all of them.
So there's another one. This is actually a really good one. Have you ever heard of the channel called Adventures with Purpose?
No.
So they've got like 4 million subscribers. Their whole thing is they are a professional dive team that tries to solve missing person cases.
Yep.
So I think they've like successfully found 21 missing people.
Wow.
Where it's been like accidental runoff of like at night they accidentally ran into a river or like a suicide or something, and stuff where the cops will be like, no, we searched this like 4 times. We had a professional dive team. They find it in like 30 minutes sometimes.
Jeez.
And they've solved cold cases that are like 30 years old. And a lot of it started because they were just trying to clean up the rivers.
Yeah.
They were just trying to get cars and stuff out of the rivers, and they find like all these missing people and stuff. And the episodes, they're tearjerkers because they'll like reunite families with these like the scene and everything, and they're very compassionate, and they'll
have
talk
a
to the police.
Box of the skeletal remains. Here's
No, and they're very they keep it very PG. They'll cover it with a tarp, and it's very professional.
it's very dark.
It sounds dark, but they tell the whole story. I mean, they're like 1.5 hour episodes.
Okay, so it's like a professional giggle.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, they're very well done. And if you go to their channel, just look for the ones that have the most views. Those are all the ones where they've actually found somebody. The channels or the videos are amazing.
Okay, yeah, I like it.
Adventures
Stella,
with Purpose.
You don't have a mic on you. Are you watching anything? She says no.
Just anime.
Just anime.
Typical millennials.
So there's one more movie. I actually meant to say this one. I forgot. I bought the movie Nefarious. Have you seen this?
Yes, I have.
I've heard about it.
Oh my gosh. I am in love with this movie. It is fantastic. And so it's like a modern take on Screw Tape Letters. So 90% of the movie is 2 guys sitting in a room talking, and one of them is demon possessed, and the other guy is a psychiatrist trying to determine if this guy's crazy and able to stand, not trial, but stand mentally capable of being executed, because this guy killed some people. So, wow, it is. The dialogue that goes back and forth is fantastic. I bought it on Vudu and stuff. I'll probably watch it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
And that's not a joke. This is one I'll watch over and over and over. There's so much like little things in there that
I must be thinking of a different movie, because pretty sure there's another movie called Nefarious that I've seen. It's about human trafficking.
No,
But
it's not that.
That's not
No.
the same thing.
No, it's brand new. It just came out. So it was in the theaters, and it did fairly well in the theaters, and it just released to be able to purchase. I think it's like $12 on Amazon or something like that. It's totally worth buying. If I buy a lot of movies, but this one
just get his Voodoo account.
Yeah, just get my
trust
Vudu
me,
account.
if you get his Voodoo account, you are set.
Hundreds, probably 1,000 plus movies on my Vudu.
How did you get all of the slips for? I remember Dan talking about how you got the.
Yeah. So, am I going to get in trouble for this?
I don't know.
I don't know either. So, I don't know if they do this. I don't think they do this anymore. So, at one time on Vudu, man, I don't know if I should say this. Is a statute of limitations up? Am I going to get back charged for
It's a
these?
Mr. Landon question.
Okay. So, yeah. So here's the deal. Allegedly, hypothetically,
I know a guy.
I actually know a guy who did this.
Okay.
Me too.
And you guys both know this guy. And so
Friend of the show, you might
friend
say.
of the show. Yeah, he loves the show. Very, very, very good guy. So, and he would do nothing intentionally wrong. But back to the piracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this come full circle. So on Vudu, which Walmart owned, that was their digital service. They had a thing where if you bought the physical copy of the movie, then you could scan the barcode and buy the digital copy for like $1. Mm-hmm. Okay. So I went to Google Images, downloaded images of movies, printed them off, and then scanned that barcode, the back of the box, and then bought it for $1. So literally,
Who did that?
a friend,
Yeah.
a friend of mine,
Yeah.
friend of mine, good friend.
You're getting old.
So basically, it was a couple hundred movies probably, and for $1 each.
But here's the thing, like what if you just borrowed it from somebody, that movie, and scanned the thing? Like, why?
Well, yeah, you could do that too.
But that's like, how is that?
Yeah, there's huge loopholes in the system.
Right.
So here's the other
Clearly.
thing that makes me angry. Half the reason why I started doing this was we owned a ton of VHS tapes. I mean, a ton.
And then everything went to DVD.
Everything went to DVD, and we owned a ton of DVDs. And then I wanted these on digital, and there's no way for me to like do anything with them.
They know what they're doing. They're doing that on purpose.
Yeah, a little bit at a time. And now you have to get the HDX, UDF, the high ultra def, whatever.
Yep.
So it's like they bump you up every time. But I'm happy at 1080. 1080 is fine. So this guy that I know has 1,000 movies that he has on Vudu. It's a full account.
It's stacked.
It's stacked.
How mad would that guy be if he had, if it just went away? Someone deleted.
I'd be pretty. That guy would be pretty upset.
I don't think you can delete them, right?
Can
You
you?
just,
No,
you just had your.
Fandango bought Vudu from Walmart, so now Fandango operates it, and it's pretty much the same thing. Like nothing has changed.
Do you have to pay to maintain the service of Vudu? So you just have the movies, and that's just it.
Right. So it's like if you bought a movie from Amazon for $15, it's on your Amazon account when you log on. So it's the same thing with Vudu. I love Vudu. We have used it for a long time. So back in the early days, I was trying to decide how we're going to buy movies, because whatever platform I'm going to be on, I want to
stay on there.
I want to stay on that platform. Amazon was right up there. We considered Amazon, and then there was a couple other like smaller ones. I settled on Vudu because Vudu was owned by Walmart. I'm like, Walmart's massive. They're not going away anytime soon.
Yeah.
And if anybody's going to maintain this system, it's going to be Walmart.
Well, now you can do it on YouTube. I just bought Burt Kreischer, the movie about Burt Kreischer on YouTube, and I think you have Step Brothers on YouTube.
But that's what I'm
too.
saying. If you bought movies on 12 different platforms, then it's hard to get to and stuff. I wanted all of my movies in one platform. So it was Vudu. Okay, we're running short on time. I've got a couple more things. You got stuff?
It's just short.
Okay.
I bought this stuff at a pet store. It's called Bubble Lick.
Why have to say it like that?
Okay, Bubble Lick. Taste the fun. It says dog and kid friendly. So listen, I bought it and I did not see it where it said kid friendly. I was at a pet store and it said, so this one is maple bacon flavored bubbles. And so I tried to blow some bubbles for my dog to eat, and he was not about it. And
So you did it for Ollie.
And so I was like, hey Maddox, you want to eat some bacon flavored bubbles? And then I looked at the thing and it said kid friendly. I was like, well, actually, he can.
Yeah.
So today before I came here, I blew some bubbles, and Ollie ate them. And I was just curious if you'd like to try it.
No, I have no interest in that whatsoever.
Come on. Now listen, Maddox is a very picky eater. He's weird about flavors, and he goes, it tastes just like bacon. No. So
I'm not interested.
I'm not interested
what?
either.
No one is interested in trying. What if I won't even blow it like right in your mouth?
No.
I'll just like let you catch it. Look.
No.
Smell it. Smell it at least.
Oh, it does. It smells like maple bacon. No, I'm done. I'm done with this. Oh, I got it on my hands. It smells like maple bacon.
Dude, it tastes like maple bacon.
So I know that they have to make dog food people safe, because in times of crisis, there are a lot of people that eat like
Gideon
cat
eats
food.
dog food. Like today. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, we have food in the kitchen. Why are you eating dog food? He's like, it's okay.
I mean, it's convenient too. It's just right
right
there
there.
on the
All
floor.
right, let's spill the beans. Has everybody here at least tried a piece of dog food
No,
before?
never.
Yeah, I own a dog grooming and boarding business. Of course I have.
I have tried a dry.
What'd you think?
It just kind of tastes like a cracker. Like it doesn't have flavor. No wonder dogs hate it, because it doesn't taste good.
This is stop. You need to stop. I'm done with this. It's disgusting.
Listen, you gotta take one.
You have
bubble.
crossed
No.
the line.
Do you like maple bacon?
I love maple
Listen,
bacon.
you've
No,
gotta
this is
bubble
artificial.
one bubble.
This is not real.
Of course it's not real.
It's not real. Have you seen this lady on the airplane? Have you seen this?
There's a lot
yes,
of Karens.
I actually heard the interview with the guy that she
Listen,
talked
that's
to.
fake. That's not real. That's fake.
The guy?
I'm sure that's fake.
There's a backstory. He
yeah,
came out
everybody.
about
I've
it.
heard 5 different backstories.
This guy who
I knew a lady who knew a lady who knew her.
So this guy,
Not really.
listen to who was it that explained? I think it might have been Michael Knowles. If you go to the Michael Knowles podcast,
Yeah.
last week sometime, he actually played the clip of the guy who this lady was freaking out about.
Yeah.
And the guy tells his side of the story. And the guy kind of sounds like a dirtbag.
So just Google or go to YouTube and do TMFINR. Okay? Because that's what she says on the airplane. She goes, that is not real. He's not a real person.
He told her that he was Lucifer.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's messed up.
And
it's completely
because
messed up.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
You got to
Yeah.
listen after the show.
Okay.
I'll play it for you. So go Google that. Okay,
All right,
we're done.
Do I need to sign
Yes,
off?
sign us
All
off.
right,
Sign off.
this is Aaron signing off for Jesse and Jason, reminding you to keep your stick on the ice. And listen, do not wear the blue sweats. Have a good week.
Sit, Bubba, sit. Good dog. I have spoken.
I have spoken? I don't know this one.
Good night, Lauer Patch Kids.
There we go.